All right, good evening, everybody. Want to welcome you to this meeting of the Temple City Council. It is currently 5:11. Apologize for being late. I think the last few meetings we've been late, every one of them. Maybe 5:15 is now the regular starting time. I apologize for that. Please rise as Scout Troop 153 leads us in the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
God grant the living, grace to the departed, rest for the nation, peace and comfort. To us and all your servants, the promise of everlasting life. Light to guide us on our way, courage to support us, and your blessings to unite us. In service to you, our God, and this country. Amen. Now please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before you guys step down, would you mind introducing yourselves? Tell us who you are.
My name
Very good. Thank you guys for being here tonight. Before we jump right into the meeting, I want to, I think probably most people know that former Mayor Bill Jones passed away this past Friday. His funeral was today. I've known Bill since, I don't know, probably just within a couple of years after I moved here back in the 90s. And he was always very supportive of me and what I did, but he also absolutely loved this city. And he worked hard for the city. He served almost 12 years as mayor of the city of Temple. And he'll be now we have term limits and he'll go down as the longest serving mayor in the history of Temple. And he worked hard and he was always dedicated, and he owned a local business here in town, and he never wore the shirt for his business. Everywhere he went, it said City of Temple on his shirt. He loved what he did and he loved the city, and we are all better for it. So just want to be sure that everyone knew that. And if you see Claudette around town, for those of you that may know her, be sure and pass along her condolences. So if we can, let's now hop into public comments. I don't have a list. We have none tonight. That saved everybody about 10 minutes. So the next item is a discussion regarding the reduction of crime in the 900 block of East Barton and a request to clean vacant lots located at the corner of 20th and Adams and 16th and Barton. And we had a Mr. Gilroy Mendoza had signed up. Would you like to speak today? Yes, sir. If you would come right up here and introduce yourself. Just a minute. Hold on. Family of who? Oh, of course. I'm sorry. That's what I thought. Well, you're in your nurse's uniform. I thought it might have been about something else, but I'm sorry. Oh, it's the whole
It's my
family.
granddaughters and my daughter that convinced me to take courage and to not, I had already chickened out. Uh, Before I begin, I would like to recognize Chief Reynolds, the Director of Transform Temple, Greg Buford, and his assistant, Chad Parsons. Thank you, sirs, for making yourself available to a citizen like myself. Thank you very much. I would like to start by discussing the wooded lot. It's between 20th, it's 20th and Adams. It's a wooded lot for sure, but it's more than that. It's a cover for crime, any number of stuff that goes through there. On any given night, I live adjacent to that alley. You know, Adams is a beautiful avenue, but on any given night, there's more foot traffic down that alley. And I see a number of things go in there and not come out. And it's been ongoing, and it could be as simple as maybe clearing a lot to give the police some help. You know, a corporal from the Temple Police Department said it best. They go in there because they don't want to be seen by us. So if we can help the police simply by clearing out a lot, so they can maybe not have to do all the going around and just see from Adams and look there and see something going on.
Now, whenever you're saying cleaning a lot, are you talking about the vegetation,
The
trees, any
vegetation,
brush, et
the
cetera?
cover that,
Yeah.
that, cannot, it's, they can't see nothing back there.
Got it.
It's pitch dark at night and again, if you clear it out, the police maybe just look over and see what's going on there. I would like to, just introduce Mr. Ochoa, Rudy's Ochoa. The stuff that happens there, it doesn't stay there. It affects parts of the city that are away. I don't know how far Mr. Ochoa's shop is, but one of the times you've heard the phrase, if you see something, say something. I've heard civic leaders, Governor Abbott, all over. And I did that. And it affected, it just so happened that he was able to retrieve some of his stuff, but my point being, if we could do something, just something, maybe it won't affect businesses like him. I'm sure he's worked so hard to build that business up and just to, have someone just go in there and just, take whatever you want. I would like to say about the wooded lot, the one, before I forget, the one on the 16th and Barton. The reason I brought that one up is I walk my dogs going west down Barton every morning. And the wooded lot there, you've destroyed a house that needed to go, but the wooded lot is still there. And there's been a couple of mornings and the homeless go and live there. And I seen them, and at first I didn't know what, he was looking up, but there's a 2-story home, got grade school children getting ready for school. And it's just unnerving to see something like that. And maybe if we clear out a wooded lot, I mean, it could very well save a life, maybe mine. It's something as simple as that. And I would like to just say to the council, we live in the shadows of the Han Hotel, beautiful hotel that's getting renovated, a beautiful parking garage. I look up there and I see that. Baker Baseball Field, historic. My grandchildren play there. We've won the city championship there. And it's historic. The timestamps on the corner of my sidewalk, 1913. The one on 818, 1912. The one in front of the house that you just demolished, 1910. That's significant. That's historic. It means something, and we matter. We're a part of Temple. Don't look upon us as a liability. Look upon us as an opportunity to make East Barton and the Bentley edition great again. Maybe not to its original glory, but get close. So when you look upon us from that beautiful hotel, you don't see an eyesore. You see families growing, not places where crime separates and goes to other parts of the city. I beg you, if whatever you can do, please. And thank you for listening. Well, that comes with, and we'll discuss that later. Thank you.
First off, thank you for your willingness to come here. It's easy. Places like that are sometimes forgotten a little bit, and if so I don't want you to think the city doesn't care. Like anything else, there's complications. There's
Yes.
Private property rights and whoever owns those lots. It'd be great to be able to go through there and clear it all out for
Yes.
one reason, but then somebody else owns it, etc.
Yeah.
But we'll be sure that we have city folks taking a look at that and seeing what remedies that there may be available. Sometimes we can do a lot, sometimes we can't
Yes,
do
sir.
much.
I
So.
mean, just whatever you can
Yep.
do is gonna be a great help. I said it will.
And now
and,
both of those are empty lots, right?
They are, and
The-
they've been empty for a number of years.
Right.
And I guess they use them for spools of pipe and such, but yeah, they've been overgrown for a number of years. And
Yeah.
I've got a good chainsaw that I'll volunteer.
Right.
I mean that.
Okay. Well,
Yes,
very
sir.
good.
Thank you.
No, thank you for taking the time. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
You bet.
Thank y'all for talking him into it.
That's right. Okay, next item is special recognition, and we would like to recognize March 2024 as National Social Work Month. I'm guessing that's you folks over there. Y'all come on up. You don't just get to show up and not just sit in the audience. Do we have a mic? Are you Miss Dalton? Which one's? One of the questions. Okay, very good. So I'll read this proclamation, and then if you would, whoever you want to introduce your team, tell us a little bit about National Social Work Month. Okay, so first, if I may, this proclamation reads from the office of the mayor of the city of Temple. Whereas social work is a profession truly dedicated to helping people, and their primary mission of social work is to enhance human well-being and to help meet the basic and complex needs of all people. And whereas social workers put a particular focus on helping people who are vulnerable, oppressed, or living in poverty, and follow a code of ethics that calls on them to fight social injustice and respect the dignity and worth of all people. Whereas the social work profession for more than a century has worked to improve this society, with social workers playing a role in establishing a minimum wage, Social Security, and Medicare, and working to ensure equal rights for minorities. Whereas social workers work in all facets of our society, including schools, hospitals, community organizations, the military, mental health centers, social service agencies, corporations, local, state, and federal government. Whereas social workers are on the front lines in helping this nation solve pressing social problems, including an increased demand for mental health services, an opioid addiction crisis, and economic inequality. Whereas social workers are in high demand, with some states reporting shortages in social work staffing, and the Bureau of Labor and Statistics predicting that social work will be one of the fastest growing professions in our nation during this decade. Whereas the 2024 Social Work Month theme is Empowering Social Workers, embodies the need for society to support social workers so they can continue to do the life-affirming work that they do and help address societal needs. Whereas social workers in turn empower people, communities, and our nation, helping everyone achieve their full potential. Now, therefore, I, Timothy A. Davis, Mayor of the City of Temple, Texas, do hereby proclaim the month of March as National Social Work Month in the City of Temple, Texas, and call upon all citizens to join the City of Temple, Texas in celebration and support of the social work profession. In testimony whereof, I witness my hand on the seal of the City of Temple on this 21st day of March, 2024. So congratulations.
Thank you. We are just a small sample of social workers that live in or work on behalf of Temple. The word empowerment is what we live for. None of us went into this profession for the money or for the recognition, so we appreciate the recognition. We do what we do because we truly care about the people in our communities and the people we're here to serve, and be a voice for the people that don't feel they have a voice, and help folks realize their full potential, that even though there are things in life that may limit us or have us down in some areas, we're here to recognize each individual's full potential and help them live their best and fullest life. We all are a part of Baylor Scott and White in some form or fashion, so we're involved in medical social work, but there are many social workers around this city. If you see one, thank them. In many different settings, we're just a small sample, but we really appreciate your time. And I'm Myrna's the one that it's humble.
At least say your name and
Yeah, I think
your
you said
title.
everything. I really appreciate the recognition, like Ken said, and I believe that the social work profession is undervalued. And as someone once told me a long time ago, a client said his daughter had gone into social work and was getting her master's in social work. And he said, I never knew why she did that until I needed one. So like Kim said, if you see a social worker, if you know a social worker, thank them, because I think we would all agree that it is definitely a thankless job.
Amen.
Thank you, guys.
You want to introduce everybody? Just let everybody introduce themselves and
I guess I can introduce
your
myself. I don't
hometown, your
think I did.
major.
I'm Kim Morris. I'm the System Vice President for Care Management at Baylor Scott and White. So social work is one of the disciplines that supports care management and how we support our patients and our consumers in any step of their healthcare journey. I'm really helping them connect to what the clinicians are asking them to do or telling them to do, to helping them realize how to do that and live well.
My name is Myrna Dalton, and I am the social worker in the outpatient clinics at Scott and White.
I'm Susan Blanchard. I'm a social worker in the clinical arena of pediatric forensics at McLean Children's Hospital.
Maria Guardado, and I work at Baylor Scott and White, outpatient social worker there.
My name is Grace Brown, and I'm an outpatient social worker in the infectious disease clinic at Baylor Scott and White.
Wendy Kimbley, I'm an outpatient social worker. I work in the cancer center. I'm a cancer survivor, and because of my experience with social workers, that's what led me to go back to school at 50 years old to get my master's degree and work with cancer patients because I love my population.
Hi, I'm Charlotte Bundy. I work in the outpatient family practice clinics as a social worker.
Hi, I'm Tisha Waterman. I work as an oncologist social worker in Killeen, Texas.
And I don't think I need a microphone. My name is Courtney, and it is my pleasure to get to work with all of these amazing women as a social worker myself. So very excited and happy to be here today. Thank you, everybody.
Well, we appreciate you guys coming tonight. More importantly, we truly appreciate your good work in our community. All right, moving on to the next item is the consent agenda. All items listed under this section are considered to be routine by the city council and may be enacted in one motion. If discussion is desired by any council member, that item can be removed for specific consideration. During our workshop, council, we discussed if you didn't need to pull anything for further discussion. Is that still the case? All right, if there is no further discussion on the consent agenda, council, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Councilmember Pilkington. We have a second by Mayor Pro Tem Walker. Council, please cast your vote. The consent agenda passes 5 votes to 0. Next item number 6 is the second and final reading to consider adopting an ordinance approving a rezoning from ag to office 2 for mixed-use development on 26.889 plus or minus acres in the city of Temple, Bell County, Texas, addressed as 3426 West Nugent Avenue. Mr. Chandler.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. And as it reminds us all on the screen, this was tabled at the previous second reading a little over a month ago in order to work with the owner, Mr. Bruce Griffin, and his wife are here in case there are any questions. But there were specific reasons that you all, different concerns that you all wanted to address. And since then, we had other concerns pop up by the local school district, and those have all been addressed, and we'll explain how. But first, let's start with notification. This is just an update. Happy to go through the full presentation if you like, but the update just showing the one response in favor, but also 2 responses in opposition, and those were both from the school district. And the area of disagreement represents 16.01%. The school district was concerned about multifamily traffic, office warehouse traffic, but primarily in multifamily. And so we'll explain how that has been addressed. The Development Review Committee did review this on December 4th of last year. And so here's the updated site plan that Mr. Griffin and his engineer have provided. And so the office warehouse, as you recall, is actually a very low traffic generating use. And that is still in the same location that has access to Kearley Road on the west. And after discussions with Mr. Griffin, but also Mayor Pro Tem Walker, under her leadership and Councilmember Long's leadership, working with also addressing school district concerns and needs, the applicant decided that multifamily, just traditional multifamily, it may not be the best use at this location. And so he has agreed to do townhouses, which would address home ownership concerns because those would be on separate lots. They would be 2-story instead of 3-story and generate less traffic, it'd be fewer units. And just to compare, we had a similar table with the multifamily. Multifamily's in there. Of course, looking at trip generation, but we've added single family attached at the top, which townhouses are considered single family attached. And so you just look at the trip generation for 150 units as opposed to 200 multifamily is what they were proposing before, with an allowance to go up to 250. Well, this would cap the number of units at 150. And so essentially the takeaway here is that the number of trips per dwelling unit are similar to multifamily, but still lower than traditional detached single family. So with 150 units, you'd still see a significant reduction over, 200 to 250 multifamily. Warehousing, low generation, as I mentioned before. And so staff is recommending approval. P and Z at their initial, or their only meeting on this case back in December, recommended approval. And then, of course, council recommended approval at first reading on January 4th, with direction to staff to address concerns related to multifamily looming over adjacent single-family uses. And they have addressed it in a variety of ways, including limiting the townhouses now, rather than multifamily, to 2 stories, but still having a vegetative buffer up to 2 stories high where adjacent to single-family use or zoning district. Structures one story in height shall observe the just normal buffering and screening requirements of section 7.7 of the Unified Development Code. Multifamily duplex and triplex uses would be prohibited. So just single family attached or townhouses on separate lots. Townhouses would not exceed 150 dwelling units. Once again, before they were proposing 200 multifamily, but they could go up to potentially 250. Having a decorative perimeter metal or wood fencing around the townhouses with a click to enter gate to essentially separate the townhouse, the single family use, from the office warehouse to prevent truck traffic going through the residential. And certainly the owner and developer, Mr. Griffin, completely agrees, and I think that's what he was planning to do anyway. Just want to put that in the plan to reassure everybody. Also, that the site plan review beyond what is shown here would just occur with administrative review rather than coming back to planning and zoning and city council, and that a subdivision plat would be required prior to building permit. So I have a lot of other slides if you wanted to look at any of them, but that is the update. And Mr. Griffin is available if you have any questions.
Thank you. Council, any questions for Mr. Chandler?
Is the drawing a part of the PD, or is that just an idea?
It is. So thank you for asking. And so they revised the site plan so that it went from conceptual to something that would be part of the PD, recognizing that there would be some changes, and if approved as proposed, then you give us the authority to administratively approve anything that, in terms of moving parts around, et cetera.
So slight changes to this design you could approve in-house
Correct.
administratively, but this is the basic, this drawing is the basic plan.
Yeah, that's correct.
Anything else? Well, thank you two ladies for the work that you did on that. I know that was, protection of the school district. That's, y'all did great work. So, so at this time, council, if there's no questions or further comments, I'll entertain a motion.
Well, Mayor, I do have a further comment just before a motion. I certainly want to thank Mr. and Mrs. Griffin for all of your patience in working with us. We really appreciate it very much. Thanks, Mayor.
All right, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion, council.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And I'll second that motion.
Have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Walker. We have a second by Councilmember Long. Council, please cast your vote. I don't have anything.
You voted.
I don't know how. I never got a budget.
We took care of you.
So item 6 is approved with 4 yes votes and 1 phantom yes vote from me. So this item passes 5 votes to 0. So again, thank you guys for your cooperation with the city. It was mentioned a number of times how cooperative you guys were. So we appreciate that very much. All right, next item is the first reading in a public hearing to consider adopting an ordinance approving a rezoning request from ag to planned development general retail with the site development plan to allow mini storage warehouses and recreational vehicle storage on 5.083 plus or minus acres situated in the Maximo Marino Survey abstract number 14. Address is 3212 East Adams Avenue. Mr. Chandler.
All right, thank you, Mayor. And so just to orient you to the site, you can see in the image to the right that this is East Adams, but this is east of the loop. And I think it's important to point out that this is also east of our public water lines and east of our sewer lines as well. And so what is proposed is on the 5.083 acres are self-storage warehouses, but including RV storage, and the future retail to comply with mixed-use activity center identification for our future development plan from our comprehensive plan. So they would reserve some future retail. The site development plan, which I'll show you in a second, includes an office for the storage, landscape buffering, sidewalk, entrance and drive lanes that would have to be approved by TxDOT. If this use is approved or the zoning, there are 2 existing structures towards the front that would remain for now. And so here is an aerial, and you can see where the 2 structures in the bottom right-hand corner are located. It's a home and essentially a large garage / workshop. And so here's the site plan. This is another plan development. So the site plan would be binding with the exception of just minor tweaks. And so you can see that north is to the right, and you've got East Adams on the left side of the image here. On the front, you have the future retail. And so I say future, the applicant and owner does not plan on developing that retail at this time. What would come in first is the storage, but reserving future retail for when the market for that part of East Adams is there for a general retail use. And you can see parking showing 52 parking stalls that would serve that retail. And then behind it, self-storage buildings, and then the RV parking or storage. It's really RV storage, just uncovered on the backside. And then a sidewalk as required by code, since East Adams is an arterial. That section is not built to arterial standards yet. And so starting in the top left-hand corner, you can see the property just to the right of it are the home and the garage building that you see on the next image, looking west along East Adams, but you can see the garage and workshop that I had mentioned. Going clockwise, facing south across Adams, you can see those commercial buildings. And then the last one immediately to the east is an office building. And so looking at water and sewer, so you can see there's an 8-inch and a 6-inch in blue water lines that actually belong to East Bell Water Supply. And also in terms of wastewater, as I mentioned, our sewer lines are not this far east. And so the home is actually on septic. And an important note for fire safety that that a future hydrant upon development, which would still be required, city water would have to be extended. The East Bell Water Supply line would not be sufficient. So looking at the future land use plan within the comprehensive plan, once again, this is not only corridor mixed use, but determined to be a mixed use activity center just because of its location at a major intersection, recognizing that this one is probably a little bit further out and compared to some of the other major intersections in terms of supporting a mixed use development that's very walkable, but this would be the first step. Thoroughfare and Trails Master Plan, you can see that East Adams is a major arterial and there are no trails identified in this area. But once again, a sidewalk is required along East Adams upon development. And looking at traffic, so a major arterial has a range of capacity of 20,000 to 40,000 daily trips, which is consistent with the sections of Adams that are built to arterial standards. Of course, east of the loop, we're talking 2 lanes and shoulders. But the point is the trip generation for these proposed uses and a typical retail use, estimated 400 trips generated or less a day. So you can see on the map that just to the little bit further east at Dairy Road has a daily traffic count of 5,400. Also, 13 notices were sent out to property owners within 200 feet. We have not received an agreement or disagreement, but we did receive a response that is identified as neutral, but a letter from East Bell Water Supply Corporation requesting coordination for future water lines or fire hydrants. So certainly that was appreciated and we would make sure to do so. Newspaper printed notice on February 22nd. And so I'm not going to go through all 13 conditions, but key ones, clearly allowing a self-storage facility with RV parking or RV storage in the general retail, compliance with the development site plan, major changes returning to P&Z and council, the general retail base zoning standards, the storage buildings shall not exceed 1 story, minimum 10-foot wide landscape strip, and really per the site plan. Fire hydrant would still be required, the 6-foot sidewalk that we mentioned, and the applicant has agreed to adhere to TMED architectural standards for the future retail building. And then the minor changes can be approved administratively. So staff recommends approval of the rezoning to plan development general retail, subject to the conditions just mentioned, and planning and zoning recommended unanimous approval by a vote of 8-0 on March 4th. So happy to answer any questions. Not sure if the applicant is online or not, but next best thing, Jason Deckman, our case manager, I'm sure could answer just about any other questions I could.
Very good. Council, anything for Mr. Chandler? Okay.
Brian, could you go back to the slide with showed the water? Was there another one that showed water? That showed hydrant oh no, this is it, sorry. Okay, East Bell Water Supply presently. wastewater to the existing home is septic, does that serve for the RV complex,
So,
RV storage?
right, that would have to be determined at the time, because there would be an office.
Right,
And so that would be determined by the county sanitarian or the public
the
health
county
district.
sanitary engineer determines
Yes,
that,
so they-
okay,
To determine whether, the condition of that septic system and whether it could support the office. And so, yeah, that would be deferred to them.
But clarification, it's not an RV park. No one will be living in. the
Correct,
RV. This
correct.
is-
The only,
storage.
yes,
Yeah, just
right.
storage.
So presumably the only need for sewer could be for the office
And for future retail.
and the future retail, but yes, in a future phase.
So
Yes, ma'am.
in terms of fire safety, may have to extend city water to support required fire hydrant. May. We have to extend the city water line
They would be responsible for
for
that.
that if
Yes.
needed.
That's correct. So
Okay.
upon development, if a fire hydrant is triggered, which development would trigger it, then they would be responsible for extending city water and to install the fire hydrant.
Okay. Thank you. Are we in a situation, possibly in a situation here where we approve something now and then it starts to develop, and then the issues with the septic system arise that it doesn't meet the standards because the Bell County water the man you mentioned, the person you mentioned, doesn't approve it, what happens then?
Well, if it doesn't get approved, I mean, so we've got a process during plating to
Okay,
ensure.
at that point, before
ensure that's
anything goes
evaluated.
underway.
Correct. And
Okay.
so the plat, there would be a signature block
Right.
for the county sanitarian.
Right.
And so he or she would, right now it's Kent Stevens, but in the future, that person, if it's not Kent, still have to sign the plat, would not sign the plat if the wastewater
Doesn't
hasn't
work.
been addressed.
Okay,
So, yeah, so got the process in place.
okay, good. I thought that was the case, but I just wanted to be sure. Second question, could you go to the slide with mobility? Okay, TxDOT drive entrance permit will be required. That has
Yes.
not been applied for? or has
Correct.
been-
Correct. Yes, this is. at
So this
point,
will be contingent upon TxDOT approving that.
That is correct. So much like the vertical
sanitary,
buildings
yeah.
that are gonna be dependent upon the county sanitarian,
Okay,
the infrastructure certainly wouldn't be able to be built, or really, I mean, any of it without TxDOT approval.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, Mayor.
Anything else? All right, items 7 is subject to a public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, we ask you step to the podium to state your name or raise your hand on the virtual platform. No one on the platform, no one in the audience. All right, at this time, I will close the public hearing. And council, if there's no further questions, I'll entertain a motion on item 7.
Move to approve item 7.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Grant. We have a second by Councilmember Pilkington. Council, please cast your vote. Item 7 passes 5 votes to 0. Item 8 is to consider adopting a resolution appointing members to various city boards and commissions. 10 days ago, a couple of weeks ago, we all met, interviewed applicants, and the following list are those that have been chosen to serve on the various boards. Animal Services Board, we're going to appoint Amy Hooper to fill the unexpired term ending September 30th, 2025. On Building and Standards, reappoint Jack Barton, Rosa Hernandez, and Brad Phillips to fill expired terms ending March 31st, 2026, and appoint Sydney Cable as an alternate to an expired term ending March 31st, 2026. Citizens Police Advisory Commission is to appoint Bryant Ward to fill the unexpired term ending September 30, 2026, and Stephen Fisher to fill the unexpired term ending September 30, 2024. Development Standards Advisory Board is to reappoint BJ Little to fill the expired term ending March 31, 2027. Emergency Services Advisory Board is to appoint David Mason to fill the unexpired term ending September 30, 2026. Historic Preservation Board is to reappoint Kay Gouda, Guy Fowler, and Michael Gonzalez to fill expired terms ending March 30, 2027. Library Advisory Board is to reappoint Lori Broughton and Amy Ellis to fill expired terms ending March 31, 2027. Neighborhood Revitalization Advisory Board is to reappoint Susan Luck, Robert Beeman, and Terry Matthew to fill expired terms ending March 31, 2027. Parks and Recreation Advisory Board is to reappoint Kat Kaliski, Joey Agee, and Kimberly Jurasic to fill expired terms ending March 31, 2027. Planning and Zoning Commission is to appoint Ryan Smith to fill an unexpired term ending September 30, 2024. The Tax Increment Financing Reinvestment Zone Number 1 Board of Director is to appoint Tyler Bradford and Brian Reinhardt to fill unexpired terms ending September 30, 2025. And the Zoning Board of Adjustment is to reappoint Christy Andrews, Josh Welsh, and Thomas Cloud to fill expired terms ending March 31, 2026, and to appoint BJ Little as an alternate to fill the expired term ending March 31, 2026. So, council, any questions or remarks about those appointees? None?
Just our appreciation for their willingness to serve.
Always. Yep. Anything else? All right, council, then I'll entertain a motion on item number 8.
I'll make a motion to approve item 8 as presented by the mayor.
I'll second it.
We have a motion. Very good. This item is approved with a motion by Councilmember Long, a second by Mayor Pro Tem Walker. This item passes 5 votes to 0. It is currently 5 minutes until 6.